So we will be discussing today about the data and Excel Visual Reports. I'll start. This is a new one. So in report builder, we are left with one of the option called as data link. Let's see what is that. We already have user details, right? You want to have some more details. You want to have some query. What you can do is you can just create one more query like this. Let's say whenever the user ID is given, whatever the responsibilities we have to get that. So I'll say select start from FND underscore rest underscore group direct. This is one of the table. Okay. And there's one more table called as FND underscore responsible underscore VL, where actually you have responsibility names. So I'll say FND underscore direct, I'll say something called as FT, and here also F1, where FD dot U responsibility ID equal to FR dot responsibility underscore ID. Let's run this query in Toad and see how it works. I'm just connecting to database. When you see the user screen, when you see user screen in Oracle application, I showed you help diagnostics examine and record history. There we see FND underscore user table, where username and all. Below we will see all the list of responsibilities which are attached to the user. If you see that table, you will have this table, FND user underscore group underscore direct. This table you will have. So in this table you will have all the responsibilities, okay, attached to user. But you will not have responsibility names, you will have responsibility IDs and then application ID, which is nothing but called as Apache using PO, tables, all these are called one module is called as one application. And then user ID you will have. If you want to know the name of the responsibility, because we have only responsibility ID here, we have one more table called as FND underscore responsibility. Underscore VL, VL comma TL. Okay, so where you will have responsibility name. Okay, here also you have responsibility ID and application ID. So if you want to get any data, what you can do is you can join responsibility ID, which is already commonly here. Join the responsibility ID, get the responsibility name. What is ID? What is the name? And these two tables you can join FND, and if a user, you can join it user ID. Because for this user, check the user ID. If these two are matching, check the responsibility ID. check with the responsibility ID which is there in responsibility name and get the name of the responsibility. That's what I'm trying to do. So we already have one of the query here with the username and all. Responsibility. Let me try here, and user underscore ID equal to 54. It is saying FND responsibility BILIT by responsibility BL is not there. FND user rest group directory. User underscore responsible user underscore directory. Okay. So if you want to know the table, any table, what you can do, select start from tab where name like FND. It will have in capitals. The data will be always in capitals. User resp resp groups direct. Here as a group. Maybe user ID 54 is not there, but then when you see like this, you'll get large records. Let's see the user ID of operations or demo 121. Okay, so let's start from FND underscore user here, user underscore name like demo 122. So the user ID is 101388. So these are the responsibilities which are attached for your user. What you can do is, instead of taking everything here, you can take fr dot responsibility underscore name. Okay. And description. Dot description. So like this, we can write a query and we can write in here. Instead of hard coding user ID, what I'll do is I'll say colon user underscore ID. Here you have already user ID. It's user ID. I will drag here, and here also we will take user ID. Where it is, that is FD, right? FD dot user underscore ID. I will take, and I'll join this user ID. Colon user ID means what it will do. When I join, this user ID will be passed as a parameter. So simply another select query. If you have two queries and if you want to get something like master detail relationship type, then you can do this. So user ID 1 is there. Now what you can do is you can use a data link here to join two queries as data link. Data link and then hold here and leave it here. So it will get joined. So what happens, you will get user ID here. Okay, based on the user ID, it will enter here and then you will get all the details. So for this details, we already have a design, but for this details, responsibility name and description are not available there, right? So we have to go for one more frame. And then inside that repeating frame. This is the label. I'm just putting on frame. So here you can put fields. Put the field, go to F4 and then say responsibility name. Here I took user ID, but user ID is not the column. User ID 1 is one more column because we have user ID in two queries. Here you have user ID, here you have user ID 1. It's always case sensitive and then it has to be like that. Because if you say user ID is here. It will say G underscore username is the repeating frame for user ID. But you are referring to G underscore user ID 1, which is user ID 1. It is not available there. So you have to, when you have common columns, you have to be careful. Description. Reduce it. Now for this repeating frame, you give the source, which is user ID 1. Okay. G underscore user ID 1. And from here, the user ID will be passed. If you have more than one, then you can use it. Okay, and then R2 reference invalid group. R2 is nothing but this. G underscore user ID. user ID 1, description. Let me compile it. User ID equal to this user underscore ID, and 1, 2, 8 you have, and 1 equal to 10. Did I take more repeating frame? This is repeating frame. I'm sure this shouldn't be repeating frame. Oh, fine. I took a repeating frame, which should not be. It should be normal frame. For report unknown user exit. Okay. Whenever we write user exits code, what we have written yesterday, we have to always remember only when you register this report in Oracle, you need this code. Okay, you have already registered it, but individually when you try to run the report, you should always remove this, because the report builder cannot identify. It cannot identify what is user exit. That's basically Oracle application command. So it knows what is user exit is. Let's say tomorrow you bring up an existing report which is already available in Oracle application. At that time, you bring up and then you try to run or something. The first thing what you have to do is you have to remove the user exits. You remove this and comment at the user exits and then start running. Number of employees are 10, and here as I said for this is the outer frame, right? So we already spoke about this. You have to put variable, otherwise it will give you only okay, it will give you all that user IDs and responsibility names and descriptions. Okay. Let's do one thing. Instead of seeing a lot of responsibilities with a lot of users, we can see our responsibility, right? But then it is greater than or equal to theirs. That's the reason it is showing whenever we give a 128, greater than 128 it is showing. If we can modify the code saying equal to, in after parameter instead of greater than, you can just say equal, and we will not give row number, because when you see equal to one particular user already, you cannot again say row number. Anyway, that's a lexical parameter. If you don't give it, it will not. So what is our user? 101. So this is now the user, and for that user, these are the responsible. Table manager, custom system administrator, application developer, auto management system administrator. So you know, right? Demo wanted to have all these responsibilities. So like this, if you have more than one more than one query when you want to join it, okay, you have to see that whether both tables have some relationship or not. If you have some relationship, definitely. You don't need to pass user ID also here. You can just join user ID, that's enough, because when you join user ID, that user ID related responsibilities it will show here. This you get user ID only one recorded, that user ID will pass automatically when you have it. But it's passed as and user ID equal to colon user ID. And that colon user ID whenever you use it, that should be in this query, FN user as. Okay, this is data in. And we have seen formula column, summary column, function column, and this is where your query and data link are available. Next. So this is all what we have in Oracle reports. Next I was talking about something called as XML publisher reports. What is XML publisher reports? Basically when you talk about an Oracle report, you always see like frames. Okay, you have to draw some frames and then you have to draw one more frame. You have to put the fields inside like this. This, when you do it very simple report, what you're doing, it's a bit easy. But when you see an existing report which is like Oracle report or something, then you will definitely have complicated layout. Complicated layout, there will be a lot of frames, lot of fields and all. It's a bit complicated to adjust that fields actually. It means adjust that fields in the sense it is a bit complicated to design as well as or modify an existing I'll just make it flex off. Okay, modify an existing report with frames, you will just move here and there. It may not get adjusted or it may not get embedded within the frame, or disturbing that frame may disturb something else, or instead of adding one more field, you may end up with the design is changed. Once the design is changed, you can't do anything. You have to create again. That's the reason. Anyways, we will be maintaining copy and we will be taking report and we will modify it, but it is time consuming. So toughest part in Oracle report is designing only the frames. So that everyone knows that, even Oracle knows. Company which started this. Okay. But the software reports, all reports are developed with Oracle reports. It is already done. You have a lot of hundreds and thousands of reports. You can't modify or you can't do anything. For that reason, they are still using Oracle. Now, what they have come up is, they have come up with a new reporting tool called as XML Publisher. Only for the layout part. Whatever the layout we are seeing, only for the layout part, it means the design part. I'll be using XML Publisher reports. Because they said design is a complicated one, right? So only for the design part, they have given this XML Publisher report. The rest of the things are like Oracle reports, whatever it is, the query, the data model, the data link, formula column, summary column. Okay, all this are okay, only with the design part is not good. So only the design part will be done. And to work with XML Publisher reports, okay, and you need a software which is called as XML Publisher Patch. If you do this search in Google, you will get one zip file. Just open the zip file, install it. In MS Word, you have new menu called as add-ins. Okay, once you install the software, it will add here in your MS Word. Okay, so XML publisher report. Once you install the software, as an add-ins, it will just come and add here, and you'll have a lot of options here. Whenever you see this, this XML reports are also called as Oracle BI publisher reports. The Oracle BI publisher reports is nothing but the same. And as I said, either BI publisher report or XML publisher report patch, you can try and Google it and you'll get the software. So once you have this software, you can start working with XML publisher reports. So in XML publisher reports, everything is common. Data model, as I told you, data model links, everything is common. Only the design part, this part I will not do. Now what we can do is, there's already a report done. Okay, everything is there. Even the design is there, but still I want to make this report as an XML publisher report. It doesn't mean that when you have design you cannot make XML publisher report. Whatever the new reports are coming, as we said, XML publisher report is basically to override that design. So what they'll do is they'll not design here. He's saying use Oracle report, prepare your query, prepare your formula columns, summary columns, whatever you want to do. Design part you do in MS Word itself. How do you do that? Okay, using this add. Correct. But then, before doing that, you need to do a small piece of work. Basically, XML publisher report can understand only XML tags, XML language. So when you want to design the layout, you need an XML language data. That means your report should be converted in XML language. How is that possible? Yes, it is possible. Go to report builder, because it can understand only XML language. Okay, file, generate to file, XML. It will give you user underscore data dot XML. It means whatever the report name you give, with the same report name, just give. It will generate XML tags for you. It is asking the parameters. I'm saying 1, 2, number, whatever the number we have here. We'll do that. Okay, I'm not giving a row number and down. I'm just giving only the username. I'm just splitting once again. That's all. So for the existing report, you have to just say generate XML. You will have an XML file here. This is RDF. This is XML. If you open Notepad++, you will see completely the data is converted into XML language. G underscore username. What is this? This is a group column. In report builder, G underscore username is a group column. G underscore user ID is one more group column. So under group column, what all we have? Username, user ID, creation date. After that, list underscore G underscore user ID 1. This is G underscore user ID 1, which is nothing but another report. G underscore user ID. So for each and every column, what they will do is value, they will just create XML tags. This is called XML tag. User ID in less than greater than symbol / user ID, that's closing or opening and closing. Between that, whatever the data we are trying to get it, for that data it will just get all the related information, and that information will be converted into XML. So now what you can do is, to work with, you can just open MS Word, go to add-ins, data, load XML data. Click on load XML data. Where in desktop you have XML. The moment you say load, it will say data loaded successfully. Now go insert table wizard. You can do manually as well as you can do wizard also. It is asking in which format you want, table or form, like this. I'm saying I want in table format. Next. Say next. You got only username, email address, user ID, and all. Only the first one. You can just select the second one. See whether you got all the columns. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to create the first one first. Okay. Done. Now we have two sections in the core builder, right? Data model. We have one here, one here. So what we will do is here also we have to do the same with two sections. I mean, it all depends if you want. Okay, fine. CP1. What is the CP1 actually? Oh, place out a column. This is number of employees. This didn't come, but still, what you can do is you can go and say insert table wizard. Next. Okay. Now save this file. Once the design is done, user underscore XML dot. The file should be saved with RTF. Not capital, it is small. RTF. Okay. And here instead of save as type, you have to select rich text format. And just save. If you want to see the output, click on preview. It's a PDF. Java runtime error or latest is installed correctly. Okay. I have an issue with Java. Then I can install Java runtime, but then in case if I install Java runtime, it's going to hit the complications in other things. So we'll do one thing. Here we have the software. So Java 6 update 35, and we have Java development kit 6 update 35. Java SC development kit update 35. Okay. Hmm. We can also register this report in Oracle, and here we may not get the issues. Let's do one thing. I'm just doing a login. I'll just create one. This is another instance actually. Your responsibility was passed on something, right? If you have system administrator responsibility, that's more than enough, because if you have one responsibility, system administrator, then we can log in with that user and we can definitely do a lot of things. So, okay, these two responsibilities, and then I'll say XML publisher administrator. To work with XML publisher reports from Oracle application side, this is one of the responsibility what we need. I'm just coming out and then I can log in as demo 122. Just click on login. It will ask me the password to change. Welcome 123. Welcome. To register XML publisher report, what we can do is the same process we can follow. First of all, once the report is done, the RDF should be in a particular top. That is like yesterday we have done like PO and all. So it should be there. And then we should design an executable. We should design a concurrent program. And once you design executable and concurrent program and add to the requested group, you can see Oracle report. Yeah. But then we have something called the RTF also, right? The design what we have done. If you want to see that in Oracle reports, that has to be separately registered using XML Publisher Administrator. Let's do one thing. Let's register Oracle report. Oh, you should have used access for this. Okay, fine. Fine, we'll continue tomorrow. I'll try to get Unix access, or we will use the other instance. Okay. Basically, after designing this XML publisher report, once you start running, it has to.
Actually, if we have this Java runtime running in our system, so we can get the PDF file.
Yes.
Okay.
I already have Java runtime, but the version is different.
Okay.
What it is asking it is asking for another version.
Okay.
But then if I install that version, what happens? I will not be able to open other instances. Okay. I have multiple instances with me. I mean multiple releases. Like in release 12 only you have 12.1, 12.1.3, 12.2.2, 12.2.3. I'm parallelly working with two instances, two releases now. 2.2 or 2.3, which are latest. So if I have Java 1.3 release environment, I will not be able to open those applications. The one I am showing you is 1.3. What we are working is 12.1. But what I am working is 12.2.2, 2.3.
Okay, Venkat.
So every version needs, every release needs a separate Java this thing. You have to uninstall it and install it. Okay. If you have all the versions, it will not open.
Okay, so we can do in this way, or we can keep the responsibility in the Oracle Apps application. Oracle applications, and we can do like that way too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is only to just check like how we check in Oracle Report Builder.
Okay.
Check the preview and see if everything is working fine. Then finally we have to go and register an Oracle application.
Okay.
Because user will be running the report only from Oracle application, right? Like how we register content program.
Okay.
In the same way, we have to register this program also.
Oh.
So I'll show you tomorrow.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Bye. Tell me when.
Tomorrow is Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's Saturday for you and Friday for me. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll have 6 o'clock.
Okay.
My time.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.